Welcome to the barn where we party hard but hustle harder. Today, I finally managed to pester probably the most important guest we'll ever have on this show. My personal mentor who has taught me probably 90% of everything I know, and best friend in the whole world, my grandfather, my Dada, Mr. Parachan Devchan Rupshisha. Dada, you grew up poor from literally coming from hand to mouth. And today, you're the owner of your very own enterprise. How did you make decisions along the way to make this leap?
You know, the first decision as soon as I left school was to take up any jobs available.
Right.
You got to be handy with little money what you can spend, your own transport, and you don't rely on anybody. I took a job at a very small salary. And then I was always seeing that what could be the opportunities, whatever I learned within the tenure of that working, that I can apply that one and I can start my business.
And you know, when people say very small salary, I don't think they fully comprehend how less your salary was. Could you please tell our audience what your starting salary was?
I started my salary with 250 shillings per month.
Wow. So, in other words, just getting any job that's available to you and learning is the first step if you have absolutely no money.
Yeah.
But once you've already made that decision, what's the next step you make from being employed to entrepreneur?
You know, when you are looking for an opportunity, and I'm sure that the world is wide open, you get the opportunities, and you are looking if there is a business for sale or you want to make it a startup. So all the time you are looking, and I'm sure, you know, not myself alone, everybody will at certain point come to a decision that he'll start his own business.
Right.
Provided he's got little money to start with. The people who start, they don't have big expectations, and they know that what is their financial status, so they can start from there.
And another concept I want to touch on is discipline. Because you are literally the most disciplined man I've ever met. At the age of 80 plus, you still wake up every single day, whether it's Monday or Sunday, at the exact same time and go to work. No questions asked. So how key was discipline in your success, and how key is it to the overall success of anyone at anything?
You know, starting from schooling to working, discipline is the main thing. You know at what time you are going to wake up, get ready and go to work. And that habit you have to form it, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday or whatever, that at certain times you got to be ready and start working. On Sunday, even if you are not working, you will go to buy a newspaper, read a newspaper, or have other activities you continue. So discipline of time is a very important issue.
And those who don't have discipline, like me, I personally struggle with discipline. What are some of the steps you can put into place to get into that level?
You know, people who doesn't know from where to start and end, there are more chances of becoming a failure, because at certain level he'll omit certain things which could be very important to his career. So it's very important, one should make his own decision and got to have a willpower that I must start my day at so and so time.
So in other words, there's no like secret formula to it. It's literally setting rules for yourself and now abiding by them. If you choose not to abide by them, don't question yourself why you're not successful.
You know, there is no shortcut to that. Shortcut is only one thing if you win a lottery. But otherwise you got to have your work done according to ethics of working.
Right. And speaking of ethics of working, I know one of the biggest core principles to you is honesty. In fact, the one thing you hate more than anything, I know, is lying. But in a world where lying often seems like the most simple solution that can solve most of your problems, can you explain why this is not truly the case?
You know, lying is a thing. If you keep on lying, you don't know how many lies you have told, you don't have head and tail of your lies, so even you lose the trust of the people. When you are talking, but if you are honest, you know that truth is a truth. And you know 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock, so there is nothing, any question asked at any one time, you know the answer, because that is the reality of life.
So it means you don't have to always think how you can adjust yourself to a situation, and you just go by as it is.
You don't have to make unnecessary excuses.
Right, so you just face up to what it is.
Yeah.
Another topic I want to delve into is you personally told me that over 90% of businesses fail in the first year. Now, assuming someone is disciplined, they're honest, they're working ethically, and they tick all the boxes, right? What do they do when they see they've reached a situation where they're unable to continue with their business for one reason or another?
The main reason for somebody coming out in the first year, maybe either their expectation is very high or their knowledge is not enough to carry on with their business.
Right.
Then he has to change the course of his working, or he has to take up another profession.
Can you give us a bit of an example into this?
You know, if you have started a shop, you can go where less decisions are to be made. Like you can enter in a transport business.
Right.
Or you can do like a salesman business. You buy and sell. But where there you have to make a decisions every day. You got to know one after another what are you going to do it.
Right. And then many businesses that I knew I've seen also suffer with very high expenditures and low incomes. And on paper it seems very easy. Cut out all the necessary things and focus on what's necessary to grow. But still so many people are unable to do so. So what are some advice you have for them?
People have to budget out what they are going to earn and how they are going to spend. You know, in the beginning, you have less responsibility of carrying on a family. So that all that adjustment of your expenses, plus and minus, you can always get it done. Even on the lowest income, you know how you are going to run things your own way.
And one thing I want to ask you is particular to this niche of entrepreneurship is like, you know, footballers, they're skilled. Not anyone can come up and start kicking a ball. Do you think the same is for entrepreneurship, or anyone can literally do it?
You know, like football is a game of skill and stamina.
Right.
Business is what you are going to think about, is your mental stability and other things. So that I think God has gifted to everybody. So I don't think there is any reason people cannot do it.
So everyone should take a chance on themselves. Okay. Now we're focused a lot onto how people can focus within their own business and grow themselves using the right practices and ethics. But I want to also delve into the macroeconomy of the globe as a whole. Now, one topic we strongly disagree on, which I know, is crypto. So what are your thoughts on it and the pros and cons for the future of this technology?
You know that working for 50 or 60 years, and you know that you exchange with a currency, and all of a sudden people they say there is no currency, there are no coins, it's only in your imagination they give you a shape of a coin. So how somebody can digest that system is going to work where it's not supported by any fundamentals? So in my career, and like any other people who are aged, successful business people, you know it, they also don't either understand crypto or they don't have a faith in crypto.
And which one are you?
I'm one of that, I don't understand crypto.
But do you at least have some optimism for this technology in the future, or would you say it's completely bleak?
I think it is a learning process, and if we find things turn up, that cryptocurrency is the future things to carry on.
Right.
Maybe people have to change it, because when I was born there were no computers, when there were no television, there were no mobile phones, no smartphones and nothing. Slowly people they adopt. Even right now I cannot even operate a computer, so question about crypto may be a little far reaching for me.
So in other words, you're not concluding whether it's right or wrong for the future and whether we'll implement it.
Yeah.
It's a very huge gamble, and for those investing into the space, they should make sure to only put as much as they can afford to lose, as we do not know what could happen with it.
You know, even the biggest government in the world, some of them, they still say they are not going to accept crypto.
Right.
So maybe when everybody has understood and things are being transacted and translated into crypto, maybe things will come out.
Right.
You know, like even television button to somebody to start is a hard time to start, but people they learn.
So it's just giving it the right amount of time. One thing you just interestingly touched upon is corporate governance against crypto. And one thing we're always talking about is how America in particular are against this cryptocurrency. And one thing you always must mention to me without fail is how Western countries such as USA and China, that are the big two economies of the world, are slowly declining, while emerging economies such as India are going to seem to be more prevalent in the future. Why do you believe that to be so?
You know, this, it is said that China is mining crypto to the tune of over 60%.
Right.
So does it mean that crypto is going to be a manufacturing industry, or is it somebody has to earn? So I don't understand that one.
Right.
So there are countries who have an access to mining and other things. Probably they want to dominate this world,
Right.
so they are going on their own way. But there are other countries, they are even short of their own currencies, so we cannot say they are going to transform to crypto as yet.
Right. But sorry, just to touch on what I wanted to ask you is regarding this situation where the large economies of the world, such as USA and China, are on a decline, and India is rising in terms of strength.
Yeah.
So why do you believe that the countries that are leading today in the global economies are the ones that won't be in the picture in years to come?
You know, these first is their habit of working.
Right.
You see, in a third world country, people are starting with a salary of 30 pounds or $40.
Right.
In Western world, they are starting with $1,500 to $2,000. They have set their living to the $2,000. For them to adapt and to fight with somebody who is getting only $40. And for anybody who is earning $40, is a 100% chance that he's going to go upward. Somebody earning $2,000 in that country, whether it will be afford to give each and everybody $2,000 or an employment equivalent is still debatable. Either the people who are earning $40, they need to that level, equal field, and then they can start together. So at the moment, people with a high economy, every chance is they are going to get down.
So it's like you've already reached the top,
Yeah.
and to move further,
Yeah.
there's very little room.
Yeah.
But that being said, like Elon Musk just recently bought over Twitter
Yeah.
in a $43 billion transaction, which is more than the entire economy of our country, Kenya.
Yeah.
So can you explain why in one country a single company is allowed to be bigger than an entire economy, and why Kenya is not reaching those economic levels which we would like to see them at?
You know, these people who can buy an enterprise worth like 40 billion or upwards,
Right.
these people who have created the money, it's not an earned money. It's all paper money.
Right.
They've hyped up their share value, their status, and they've classified them that they are worth so much. For them it becomes easier to borrow that money, and then they buy these companies. In reality, the company is not worth $43 billion. It's only created in a paper money by increasing the value of the shares.
Right.
So that way they can carry on, but third world countries, they cannot do that way. They only know, like we live in Kenya, you know, people grow vegetables, and then they know that the cost of potatoes is less than $1 a kilo, and that economy and that earning, and he has to live accordingly.
So it's like one is reliant on an asset-based business structure,
Yeah.
while one is purely cash flow.
Yeah.
So what are the infrastructures we can put into place to enable us to get this paper money floating through our companies to inflate our economy, to give us those rewards?
But my thinking is that if we keep our economy in terms of money, even at a lower ebb, and keep our cost of living also low, that would be the right answer for everybody to earn little, spend little, and live happily. Rather than people earning $2,000 and $4,000, and then they adjust their life accordingly, And at the end of the day, even if you give them a salary of $100,000 per year, it's not enough.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. So what you're saying is here in a third world country with a lower economy, we're able to live much happier than someone in America. So if we just stop comparing ourselves to them and do what we're doing, the future for our country is very bright.
You know this statistic can say, in spite of paying so much high salary and good living, the cases of depressions in first world countries are more than the third world countries.
Whoa.
So it says by itself.
So money is not happiness.
No.
So then what is happiness?
Happiness is whatever you earn it, and if you know how you are going to enjoy this money by in terms of helping out somebody or the government or anybody nearby, to put them in an equivalent footing. You support your brothers or you support your relatives, you support your people you know, who can come in the business and level field, they can live equally a good life. If they go in any places there is no segregation, somebody can buy a shirt at 500 shillings, let everybody can afford at 500 shillings.
Right.
Yeah.
This concept that you're talking about of helping other people being a very huge source of happiness is something I've seen a lot with you. You usually go out of your way to actually do things for other people. By helping other people, how does that increase your monetary gain and your happiness in the long run?
You know, when you help somebody and if you put somebody in a place where he's progressing, there could be a learning process for you. As he's progressing, maybe you have something to learn from him, and whatever you have rewarded somebody, I'm sure, God will reward you, because you learn more and maybe you'll do better in other things, and that you are not going to be a loser by donating your money.
That's interesting. So you don't look at helping someone as you losing money, but as a possible investment opportunity, not even in terms of them giving you something, but the knowledge you learn from your process of working together with them on this project.
You know this, when we were small, we always had been thinking, whatever wealth you accumulated, that will help a future generation, like your sons and daughters, or their sons and daughters. It had been true at that time, because there was very small money. But in today's world, maybe whatever you have accumulated, your sons and daughters, they don't want that money. They want to try their own way of doing things and earn money. And even if you leave this money to second generation, whether they are going to use it or not is still a debatable question. He has a different thinking and is a different way of living. So that he'll start his own way of doing things. He's not going to rely on your assets, money or richness, but
so you're going to leave it all behind.
Yeah, he'll generate his own way of doing things.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, look, unfortunately, you have a lot of wisdom to impart onto our viewers, but we just do not have enough time to go over everything. So before we conclude this segment, there's one concept I want to touch on, which I've actually never asked you, so this would be a first time for this even for me. You mentioned religion earlier in this podcast. And another thing is, when Dad passed away, I was so shocked to see you holding your composure. You didn't even shed one tear, and you just did your duty. And I mean, that's your son. And with this element of religion and how this emotional stability you have, can you just please explain a little bit to our users how you got to that level where you can be so composed to face literally the worst nightmares life puts in front of you?
You know, if you lose a son, maybe at a tender age of 50, it could be a shock. And at that time, the family requires a lot of support. And if you become emotional and start crying or start acting in a different way, it's not going to help the family. You have to work out and see the things that how you are going to support a family, and you have to keep yourself intact to support everybody.
So it's like always trying to be the solution in every situation and not the problem.
Is similarly, you know, like if you got 100 million and if you lose out of that 50 million, it could be as bad shock as you are losing somebody. But that is not a thing that you start crying. You have to fight back.
So that warrior spirit is very important.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Dada. Seriously, from you, I cannot express how much I learned. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have the determination to get up every Saturday and shoot such videos. Seriously, having you here today on my podcast is such a huge honor. And as someone who's always trying to learn something from you, as you're literally the one role model that none of these entrepreneurs I talk about, from Mark Zuckerberg to Elon Musk to Gary Vee, can compare with, the one person whose word means a lot to me is yours. So as this channel is just a baby channel that's growing, what is some of the advice you have for me and my team to take this to the level we want to?
You know, like what you mentioned about other people or other role models, everybody have their own way of doing things. Everybody have got their own way of thinking as well. My advice is only, life is a learning process. Even at 80, you are still learning. Even at 80, you don't say you are not going to read the newspaper and get aware of what is happening. And every day, new things are happening. New inventions are coming. You know, even the medicines, medical field, even the technology, even the way of doing things. See the system of taxation. Yeah, you know, like manually, people used to do plus and minus, and even a statement, how people used to give it. So anything what one has to do it, as things come, you keep yourself together with a new technology.
So to summarize this point of advice you're giving me, it's mainly me learning from all these people, taking what I believe in, discarding what I don't, and improvising, adapting and overcoming the situation to building something I want the way I need.
And furthermore,
Right.
one should always keep a family value
Right.
in the front. All other things will come later on.
Right. Wow, that was actually really profound. Anyways, guys, unfortunately, we cannot continue this podcast just due to timing errors. But if you want my Dada back on the show, make sure you leave a comment down below, and I promise you I'll pester him again for some more questions. And if you have anything in particular you'd like to learn from him, don't feel afraid to ask, and I promise he'll reply you. Thank you guys, and for now, peace.